Hey everybody, Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com to talk about some of the most overrated matches in wrestling history. I asked people on Facebook and Twitter for their input, and I've come up with a list here. These are matches that are very highly regarded, and I know it's going to be difficult for me to try to pick apart these matches and critique them, but these are matches that a lot of the NoDQ visitors consider to be overrated. So let's look at some of these matches. Maybe I will agree, maybe I will disagree, and I'm sure there will be people out there that disagree with my opinion, but that's just the way it is when you're trying to criticize matches that are extremely popular and well known. Let's start off with Bret Hart versus Owen Hart from SummerSlam 1994. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer gave this match 5 stars. My big issue with this match was the whole idea of Bret and Owen constantly trying to run away from each other. My idea of a good cage match is 2 guys getting in there and just beating the crap out of each other. They want to settle a score. It's a grudge match. It's a cage match. With this Owen Hart and Bret Hart match, Bret would knock Owen down and then he would try to escape. Owen would knock Bret down and then he would try to escape. And that was pretty much the whole match. Now, yes, it was extremely athletic and very fast-paced, and it was entertaining, but I just didn't like the whole psychology of both guys trying to run away from each other. I felt it would have been better if they just went in there and beat each other up, threw each other into the cage, but the one defense for this is that Bret Hart even noted that WWE was banning blood at the time, and they came up with this idea of trying to escape the cage to make up for that. So, I give them credit where credit is due, but I wouldn't consider this match to be one of the all-time best cage matches. Next up on the list, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3. Everybody remembers this match. The body slam heard around the world. One of the most famous matches of all time, but when you take away the body slam, this match was absolutely brutal to watch. I mean, it was not good at all. There was one point where Hogan was trying to do a pile driver on the outside to Andre, and Andre back body dropped him. It looked so terrible. And just the match in general was slow, and the announcing was more exciting than the actual match. The bantering back and forth between Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura. And speaking of Hulk Hogan, he'll make a lot of matches on this list. Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18. Well, first let's talk about Hogan versus The Warrior at WrestleMania 6. When I was a kid, I loved this match. And, it was the 2 biggest stars of the era going at it. And you had all this hype for it. But when you look back at the match, it wasn't really all that good. I mean, They did the absolute best that they could, and the effort was there. But technically, it was just very standard stuff. Hulk Hogan doing the test of strength with the Warrior, and Hogan drops down to his knees, and then Warrior drops down to his knees, and people have made GIFs making fun of it, suggesting something else. But yeah, I mean, this was just this match was more about the characters, and the wrestling was really secondary here. And same thing with Hogan and The Rock. You take out the crowd heat for that match, and it's one of the worst matches of all time. I mean, there was some really bad moments, and Hogan couldn't really do much. I mean, for crying out loud, he was doing back rakes on The Rock, and the crowd was popping like crazy. So, that match was all about the crowd. And, speaking of the big superstar versus superstar dream matches, The Rock and John Cena, both matches, and I would say especially the second one. And I think WWE overrates that match more than anything else, because I really don't think that the fans thought highly of that second match. I think the fans thought highly of the first match, and I wouldn't say the first match was great by any stretch of the imagination. And the second match was a dud, in my opinion. The crowd was dead for the match, and WWE tried to tell this story of redemption and John Cena getting his big win over The Rock, and The Rock passing the torch to John Cena, which is idiotic because John Cena has been carrying the company now for almost 10 years. So What's this about passing the torch? I mean, it was stupid. And WWE tries to act like this is one of the all-time great moments, and it just didn't work. And next up, Undertaker versus Edge from WrestleMania 24. I know a lot of people love this match. A lot of people love Edge. I just didn't think it was one of the better Undertaker WrestleMania matches. First of all, I didn't feel that Edge was credible enough to end the streak. I never bought into the idea that Edge could be the guy to end Undertaker's streak. I don't know if that was WWE's booking or what, but going in, I fully expected Undertaker's streak to remain intact, and that hurt the match for me personally. And I just thought it was very standard for an Undertaker match. I mean, the best moment was when Charles Robinson did his big run-in, running all the way down to the ring in the near fall. I mean, that was the one highlight, but everything else I thought was very forgettable. And also from WrestleMania 24, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. This match is memorable because it was Ric Flair's supposed last match, and of course it ended up not being his last match. So, I think that drags the match down a little bit because it wasn't actually Flair's last wrestling match. And the finish was brilliant. I mean, the whole "I'm sorry, I love you" was great, and the embracing at the end. But the match itself, I thought, was really disappointing. I thought that they really tried, and Ric Flair tried his best, but they were messing up things, and there were spots that were botched. It just could have been a lot better, considering the two people that were in the ring. And Triple H versus The Undertaker, end of an era. This match, a lot of people love, especially the ending with the Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Undertaker all embracing at the end. But I didn't really care for this match. I thought that it was very weak for a Hell in a Cell match. I felt that the Cell played no role in this match. It was just there. They didn't really use the Cell. The Cell really didn't play into the story of the match. It just felt like they were using the stipulation to try and sell pay-per-view buys. And, the stuff with Shawn Michaels interfering, I mean, I didn't buy into it. And I wasn't really feeling this match at all. And I know a lot of people disagree with me on this one because it was voted the match of the year on NoDQ.com. And I disagree with that. I do not think it was the match of the year. But, everybody loves it. So, I'm sure on that one I'm going to get a lot of people disagreeing with me. But I would consider it to be perhaps the most overrated Undertaker WrestleMania match. And finally, in my opinion at least, the most overrated match of all time. And not because it wasn't historic, because it was historic. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match. Extremely memorable because of the story that it told, with Shawn Michaels realizing the boyhood dream, and this was his first WWE title win. But the match itself, I thought, was very disappointing. I think that the first 5 minutes were very exciting. I thought that the last 10 minutes and the overrun, I thought that was very well done. But the 45 minutes or so in the middle, it was boring. I mean, I'm just going to call it as I saw it. It was boring. They spent most of the time doing rest holds, and it just felt like filler, like they were trying to pass the time by doing rest holds and not really taking a whole lot of risks. And, a lot of people think that it was a mistake to have both guys go 0-0 into the overtime because it just made the match less exciting. If there were actually falls during the match, that would have made things more interesting. So, it was still a tremendous performance by both guys, but I think that this would have been better as a 30-minute marathon match or Iron Man match or whatever. If they made it 30 minutes, I think it would have been a much greater match. And, the fact is, people in the Arrowhead Pond that night were leaving the building during the main event. I mean, that's how bored some people were with it, that they were leaving during the WWE title match. So, definitely an important match, but I think that WWE overhypes it and overrates it, and I think there are some fans out there that overrate it as well. All right, so that'll do it for my thoughts on the most overrated matches, and obviously these are big time matches that everybody talks about. Let me know what you think, what you agree, what you disagree with, and let me know if there are other matches that you thought were really overrated. Post a comment, youtube.com/NoDQCW, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest in WWE and TNA. Thanks for watching.